Objection number 4. This law violates the rights of minorities. The rights of the minorities are violated by this law. We ask the objectors, do non-Muslim minorities in Pakistan or around the world even have the right to blasphemy against our revered Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Of course not. If non-Muslims do not have the right to blasphemy against our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then how can they claim those rights which they don't possess? For example, if someone insults your father and you will stop that person from doing so, but he or she says that it's their right, would you grant such a right to someone or allow insult someone you love at the request of anyone? This law only protects the rights of Muslims because Muslims have the right to safeguard the honor of their Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is not a violation of anybody's rights whatsoever. Zimmi is a non-Muslim living in a Muslim state. He or she will be provided with complete religious and economical freedom after the payment of jizya and will have to follow the laws of the country. Islam has granted rights to minorities, but it has also defined these rights and their boundaries. For instance, non Muslims have the freedom to worship and live accordingly to their religion, but they do not have the right to mock or insult the religion of Muslims or to commit blasphemy, especially about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If they engage in such actions, they will face consequences. Hazrat Gharfa anhu stated that agreement with non-Muslims to allow them to live in their territory does not imply that they can tease us about Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our responsibility is solely to ensure that we do not cause any hurdle between them and their place of worship. However, matters concerning offences such as murder, theft, robbery, defamation, etc., which are brought to us, will be decided in accordance with the laws of Allah. This proves that non Muslim minorities living in an Islamic state are allowed to reside in it under certain conditions. If they blaspheme against our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will be punished due to breach of rules. Even if a Sikh or Hindu commits murder in Pakistan and claims ignorance of its consequences, he or she will still be punished according to the law of Pakistan because ignorance of the law does not stop the punishment. Here's another reference. Someone mentioned to Hazrat Ibn Umar anhu, that he had heard a Jew saying derogating remarks about Prophet ﷺ. Hazrat Ibn Umar anhu replied, if I had heard it, I would have surely killed him. We Muslims did not engage in such an agreement with them, non-Muslims, which would allow them to derogate Prophet ﷺ. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullah was asked about a person who is a zimmi but has committed blasphemy about Prophet ﷺ. He said that such a person should be killed because by insulting Prophet ﷺ he has broken the covenant. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullah's statement also proves that the covenant with non-Muslims allowing them to live in an Islamic state gets terminated due to blasphemy because it was not permitted in the covenant and cannot be tolerated. Allama Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah further emphasized that when we hear a polytheist or a member of the people of the book, whether a Jew, Christian, etc., derogating Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then there is no longer any treaty between us and them. In such a case, it becomes compulsory to engage in jihad and combat against them according to the available resources, and it's obligatory for the state to do so. Here's another reference from Fatah al-Qadir, volume 13, page 205. In my opinion, if a zimmi attributes inappropriate things to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or to Allah, which are contrary to his or her religion's teachings, when that person expresses them, it will break the covenant to abide by Islamic rules and he or she will be killed. Following is another reference, Tafsir Ruh al-Mu'ani, volume 5, page 253. To say that because after the payment of jizya, the zimmi have been allowed to retain their beliefs and the act of derogation is not a bigger crime than that of having those beliefs at first place is entirely unjust. In this situation, that no objection is made to their zimmi's disbelief. Likewise, no charge should be placed on derogation. By Allah, is this equivalent of selling the Prophet ﷺ for a very low price? According to this reference, the act of acknowledging and allowing the Zimmis, the non Muslims, to stay in the Islamic State does not allow them to insult or to commit blasphemy about Prophet ﷺ. To say that they already have a different belief which is against, or you can say which is in conflict with the Islamic belief, shall give them a right that they could commit blasphemy is totally wrong and it should not be allowed. Now a verse from Quran, Surah Tawbah, verse 12, translation. If they break their oaths after making a pledge and attack your faith, then fight the champions of disbelief who never honor their oaths, so perhaps they will desist. Interpretation of this verse. This verse establishes the evidence for killing of those individuals who speak inappropriately about Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Undoubtedly, degrading and mocking Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a serious offense in religion as it constitutes the violation of both Sharia and Islam. A hadith on the point under discussion. Sunan Abu Dawud, Volume 2, page 251. Translation. Hazrat Ali Razallahu said, a Jewish woman used to insult Prophet ﷺ and speak ill of him. A man strangled her until she died. Prophet ﷺ declared that her blood will not be subjected to a trial. The act will not be punished. This hadith clearly explains the fact that non-Muslims were allowed to reside in an Islamic state. However, anyone who had committed blasphemy from them were executed. So, you can say that this law itself ensures the protection of minorities. This law is not against any minority or its right. It has been implemented to punish the culprits, whoever they may be. That's why this law cannot be objected.